Steve, you know how it goes. You can't win. Some people say you're a Bernie bro and you drool over him. And then if you criticize him, you're not being fair. I'm going to call it like
I cried on camera when Bernie lost. I mean, literally everybody was teasing me and anyway, go on.
Right.
I'm sorry.
So with the caveats, I appreciate everything Bernie has done. He's been a great person for the movement. He's brought in millions of people, yada, yada, yada. He isn't God, and you got to criticize him when he should be criticized. So Bernie preemptively, I mean, we don't even know if Biden's running again. You listen to Biden when he's not talking about the deficit. It seems like he's struggling just with stamina and things like that. But Bernie says he will support Biden re-election bid and will not run against him. Bernie said on Monday that he would support a re-election bid by President Biden if he decides to run for another term. Comments that came one day after progressive Congressman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez declined to say whether she would endorse a Biden campaign, but she still had to sneak in that he's doing a very good job, which I thought was insane. All right. Actually, let's show that. Colin, you have the AOC clip just so people can see it.
I just want to ask about President Biden. He is saying he's going to run again in 2024. Will you support him?
You know, if the president chooses to run again in 2024, I mean, first of all, I'm focused on winning this majority right now and preserving a majority this year in 2022. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But I think if the president has a vision, then that's something certainly we're all willing to entertain and examine when the time comes.
That's not a yes.
Yeah, you know, I think we should endorse when we get to it. But I believe that the president has been doing a very good job so far. And, you know, should he run again, I think that I think it's we'll take a look at it.
Okay.
But right now we need to focus on winning a majority.
And the funny thing is, everybody was crediting her on Twitter. Oh, she won't back Biden. There's no reason you need to say he's doing a very good job. That's insane. But we'll get to her in a minute. First of all, let's just put aside for a second whether Bernie is actually going to support Biden and the fact that that's absurd that he feels that way. I could get to why I think he feels that way, but put that aside. I covered Bernie's 2016 campaign. I covered his 2020 campaign, not in a studio. I was at a lot of rallies. I was going around the Bernie wave. I went all over this country covering Bernie. And one of my favorite things that he said was, you don't start a negotiation offering half a loaf. You demand the full damn loaf. Another bad Bernie impersonation.
I was going to say, we're memeing the fuck.
Right. I want the full damn loaf. Why in the hell would Bernie Sanders, because if Biden's going to run again, and who knows, but if he's going to run again, if it's against Trump or DeSantis, I would say right now, he's the underdog. He's not popular. COVID is basically the major reason that Trump lost. I think DeSantis would beat Biden, which is scary because DeSantis is a more competent Trump. But why would you preemptively, without getting one concession, not one executive order from Biden on anything real, not one promise delivered by him, $15 minimum wage, public option, $2,000 checks. I could keep going. Why would you preemptively, getting nothing, say you're going to, not only that you're not going to run, but that you're going to support him? It is political malpractice is an understatement. It is horrendous and basically shows what I've been saying for years. Bernie Sanders, he is a revolutionary at heart, but not in practice, because this continues to just bring a spoon to a knife fight. And you're giving Joe, and now let's say Bernie Sanders changed his mind and he wants to run against Joe Biden. Now you're on the record saying, no, I'm going to support him. So the media has a line against you that you're just doing it for you. And you said you were going to support him and blah, 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 blah. It defies logic. He should have just said, we'll see what happens. Speak silently, but carry a big stick. We'll see what happens. I'm undecided. Whether Biden runs or not. But you gave away any leverage you had. Biden does need, he's basically been hemorrhaging support across the bases, particularly age 18 to 29, which Bernie was a stronghold for Bernie. obviously progressive voters. Not that all progressive voters or all 18 to 29-year-olds will listen to Bernie if he says, support my friend Joe. But the bottom line is, why the hell would you put this out into the world? Who the hell is advising you unless he's legitimately decided, I ain't doing this again. 2 times was enough. But even if you're not going to do it again, why would you say you're going to support him without getting anything? Secondly, Steve, I never got into fraud squad and all this shit. Like I don't do, I'm a journalist. I'm not going to do these hashtags and shit like this. But AOC, that response shows that she is a classic politician. Rather, if we needed any more verification of that, because she didn't want to just say straight up, well, yeah, we'll see what happens. But I think the president needs to be doing a lot more. Here's what he can do. Here's what he should be doing. Here's who he should be fighting. But she basically, I don't know, she doesn't want to upset Mama Bear or doesn't want to upset the apple card within the Democratic Party or doesn't want to lose her committee. Who the hell knows? But okay, you won't say you're going to endorse him. Great. But then you say he's doing a very good job. I mean, with progressives like this, no wonder we are where we are.
Truth is not celebrated in this community. I'm not lying. If you violate someone's feelings, it doesn't matter if it's true. It's a post-truth society. Okay. And this is at the activist level. We see it every day on Twitter. It's at the political level. We see it with AOC right there. And we see it with Bernie in his comments for Biden. But let me take a less strident view of Bernie's statement here. I think Bernie is looking at this saying, we've got a lot of irons in the fire, and I don't need to make news right now. I don't
but
think
you are making news. You are making news.
Bernie never has.
You're making news when you preemptively fold the tent and say, no, I'm going to support him.
You're talking to a guy that thinks Bernie's capitulation in 2016 crushed what could have been a major change in this country. To look at the way they swept him in 2020, absolutely kneecapping, and then watching Biden cuckle around about freaking deficit reduction. So, I mean, I get it. My point is that these politicians are doing what politicians do. They're never going to ruffle the feathers of their party. This is what is wrong, because you're not allowed to criticize. You're not allowed to take issue with. You're not allowed to say that's wrong, here's right, because people get up in their feels. And this is the way the party operates, and this is the way people in general operate. It's terrible. It grosses me out beyond words. It disgusts me, actually. But what are you going to do? I mean, seriously, the average person, if you've seen it, Jordan, if you say something remotely off-putting to someone, something that their heart feels this thing is true, even if it's false, they feel it's true. You say something that violates that, what's going to happen? They're going to destroy you. They're going to go out there and call you a fraud. They're going to go out there and say, oh, I know that guy. He's horrible. He said something. Whatever. They got things to say. The minute you speak truth, these guys are politicians. They got to get elected by a bunch of people who can't stand the truth. They claim they want the truth. You give them the truth. Oh, no, he's mean. I'm telling you right now, this right here, classic of that. It's the outcome of that protective behavior.
But the thing that doesn't make sense to me, Bernie's 80 years old, okay? God willing, he lives for another 100 years. But this is his last hurrah, basically.
Yep.
Whether he runs for president or not, maybe he's got 5-6 more years as a senator. I don't think he's going to want to be, a senator until he's 90. So at the end of the day, let's say there was still currently a possibility for Biden to deliver something, and there's some behind the scenes thing we don't know about, right? Build Back Better in a scaled back form could pass, or something's going on. Okay. Then you could make the argument, all right, well, he's playing the long game. He's being diplomatic to Biden now because he's working with Biden behind the scenes. But we know nothing's going to happen from now to November. I mean, President Manchin has shut that down, and President Fetal Position, I mean, Biden has refused to use the bully pulpit of the presidency to go after Manchin or Sinema. We've talked about this. I mean, there is something Biden can do on guns, whether it would work or not. Whether it work or not, I don't know. But he could have used his primetime speech with the candles behind him to put a public crusade on Manchin and Sinema to vote to end the filibuster so we could pass real gun reform, not this bipartisan deal that does a whole lot of nothing. So that just passed. So the fact is, Bernie, you're not getting anything from him unless there's, I'd be happy to have egg on my face, but you're not getting anything from him for proclaiming you'll support him. And you're not just proclaiming you're going to support him. You're basically proclaiming fill in the blank. You're going to support the Democratic Party. So to me, I don't think he's a fraud. I don't think he's a coward. I don't think he's a sellout. I think he's super naive politically. I think he will go down as a revolutionary in spirit who doesn't understand what it takes to actually bring revolution. And it's unfortunate because I don't believe, we've talked about it, we don't think structural change in healthcare, climate, these other things is going to come from electoral politics. That doesn't mean completely abandon electoral politics. Right. But I will say, you don't have guerrilla fighters in there. Bernie will fight against the Republicans and he'll fight for policy, but strategically he will not fight. And this is very unstrategic. AOC, the rest of them, look at what they did to Nina Turner. Whether you supported Nina Turner or not, they wouldn't even endorse her. AOC endorsed her 5 minutes before polls open. So we don't have, and people could vote for whoever they want. I'm not telling you what to do, but we don't have bare knuckle brawlers like a Shama Sawant in Washington. And that is a major problem.
Yeah, bare knuckle brawlers don't get a lot of love anyway. They tend to get dogpiled for being bare knuckle brawlers. So I think really the sad thing here is that, we've got people that don't realize Jesse the Body Ventura is a libertarian. He's not a progressive. We got people that think Andrew Yang, who is got more cringe posting out there than any human being on the planet. And Jesse the Body said last night, for example, that we don't have a prayer without Andrew Yang. We need to support Andrew Yang. So I'm just so disgusted and saddened, really heartbroken, that between not understanding economics, between seeing libertarians as the way forward that want to cut spending even more than Biden did, and we're celebrating that, it's like literally a knife in the gut every time I see this stuff. It's like we never learn. It's like we have a conversation one day and the next day we wake up and we have it again. We don't change. We don't grow. We don't expand our knowledge. We don't build on the things we do know. And I'm telling you right now that what you see with not only Biden, but Bernie and the rest of them, this is why I'm telling you all, if we don't find a way to organize beyond the electoral not in the absence of let's just get that out of the way so I don't have to say it again, not in absence of the electoral but absolutely Occupy Wall Street level organizing. We could hit rewind and play on almost every show you see on news because it's just a rehash of the same stories. Until we make fundamental change, get used to repeating yourself always, constantly. And so I try to find a different way to say the same thing over and over again. The fact is, this is exactly the wash, rinse, repeat. We have people that still don't understand economics, still don't understand why privatization of everything and cutting spending is bad. And they still celebrate putting libertarians up at the top of a ticket. Folks, I can't make you understand. You got to want to understand. This stuff is not good for us. Right. In order for us to thrive, we need a president that's willing to spend, who has a backbone, who understands the economy, because everything you want, every single program you want, every single change you want in America comes from the pen of the president's desk. And unless we do something different, we're going to have to force that through, because the people that are there to do it in office are not going to do it. You're right. They're not bare knuckle brawlers. I am, though. I'm a bare knuckle brawler. You can count on that.
Thanks for watching, and make sure to tune in to Status Coup's daily live stream Monday through Thursday at 5 o'clock Eastern time and Fridays at 4 o'clock Eastern time.